Was smoking all my dragons, divine righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking, and I am back with Beau of the fifth column. I almost said fifth element. Beau of the fifth column, right? And this is Let's Talk About Government Shutdowns, Continuing Resolutions, and more. So I'm interested in this because I definitely keep hearing about, the such and such. I don't want to say it, but is allegedly, it's rising again. And there's a lot of talk of a possible shutdown. Fear is being pushed. So I definitely want to hear what Beau has to say about that. With that being said, original link in the description, and we're gonna get right to it. Here we go.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Beau again. So, today we are going to talk about budgets, the U.S. federal budget. We're going to talk about the idea of a government shutdown. We are going to talk about continuing resolutions. We're going to talk about McCarthy. And we're going to talk about why the Democratic Party is being so accommodating right now. It's a little weird, and it has led to some questions. Okay, so for background, the current federal budget, it runs out, I want to say September 30th. And it is unlikely that the Democratic Party in the Senate and the Republican Party in the House are going to be able to work out any kind of functioning budget during this period. Why? Because inside the Republican Party in the House, there's a bunch of hardliners. There's a bunch of people who are far, far, far right. There's not a lot of them, but they have a lot of influence. So their demands would kind of put Republicans in the House in a situation where if it was pushed at the moment, well, they might have to support things that are frankly absurd. But maybe there's another alternative, and that's a continuing resolution. What is a continuing resolution? A mini budget, lasts for a few months. I want to say the one they are talking about would run through December. It would run through December. And McCarthy floated this idea, and it has been warmly received. And Democrats in the Senate are like, that's a good idea. I think even Schumer was like, yeah, you should do that. And there's a lot of people who follow politics asking why. Because realistically, if the Democratic Party played hardball right now, it would lead to a government shutdown, and it would widely be perceived as the Republican Party's fault, because it would be the Republican Party arguing in the House, unable to put anything forward. This is good news for the Democratic Party, right? It is. It is. While it might be good news for the Democratic Party, it's bad news for most of the country. So there's at least an element of the Democratic Party putting country over party, which is nice. We haven't seen that a lot from American politicians over the last few years. But there's something else. There's something else at play, and there's a reason why the Democratic Party is like, yeah, let's just move this down the road a little bit.
Stuff be so sketchy. Like it's just like everything that be going on just be so sketchy. Like everything feels like you're in a chess game with somebody. When you deal with these parties, I feel like you're in a chess game with somebody who just manipulative. Who got bad intentions. Almost like playing cards with the devil or something. Like you think you're winning, but the whole time it's just something up his sleeve. Like you falling into a deeper hole and don't realize it. That's how things start to feel.
What would change? That's the part you have to ask. What's the piece of information that's missing here? What would change between right now and December? There's not. It would be the same people, right? And it would be. But the big question is those hardliners in the House, where do they get their marching orders from? Right now, McCarthy seems to be of the belief that there might be a certain prominent Republican who has a lot of sway over the far right that may lose that sway between now and December. Otherwise, the same issue would exist then. So, it appears that at least some people believe that that prominent Republican, their support will collapse, and those people in the House who have been riding his coattails, mastering social media, learning how to control and provoke outrage, well, they may not.
Listen to those keywords: control and provoke outrage. I hope people are really listening. It goes back to what I was saying about it just feels like you're playing cards with the devil with any of these parties. Personally, to me, and it just feels like you're being played like by a puppet master. Um, honestly, I know people have their opinions. People are gonna comment on this. Listen. Da da da, this and that and that. But I feel like we the people, if we could just come to an understanding with each other without the powers that be, and we can start to like really unify within each other, um we could be the change we want to see. But it's just so much division. It starts to feel like, honestly, like gangs, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I start to feel like that. I start to feel like gangs.
Not have as much support either. Because if you're riding somebody's coattails and they trip and fall, well, you go down with them.
Yes.
It certainly appears to me that McCarthy might be of the opinion that the far right element within the Republican House is going to have a lot less influence in. And he's just delaying the budget until that happens. If he tried to do it right now, if he tried to push through a real budget, Republicans in the House would have to go along with it. Otherwise, he personally would be blamed because it would just pass with Democratic Party votes. That would look bad on him. The reason Republicans might object to it is because of the hardliners and their ability to control social media and control the narrative. If those hardliners lose influence, well, a real budget might be able to go through. That appears to be what he is angling for. And that's why the Democratic Party is accommodating here. Think about it this way. If there is a government shutdown, if the Democratic Party played hardball right now, yeah, there would be a government shutdown, widely perceived to be the Republican Party's fault, but to get that shutdown lifted, to get the government rolling again, the Democratic Party would have to give some stuff up. They would have to play ball with the hardline Republicans. If they wait, well, those Republicans may not have much influence. And they would be able to get a budget that is more reflective of what the American people want rather than what hardliners who realistically want things to go bad for the American people right now want. They want things to go bad because then they can blame it on Biden and it helps their side. The move here, the delay here, is really based on the hope that the far right Republican Party, that it's going to lose its influence between now and December. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.
Let me just say this. Like, I learned a lot from listening to Beau. Because, at first when I seen government shutdown, my first thought, as y'all can see in the beginning, I'm thinking he's gonna, I'm thinking from me being in my generation, I just I'm 30. I want to. I'm still in the mindset of I just turned 30 because I turned 30 in March, but I'm 30, and my generation, has a lot of theories, a lot of things going. So as soon as I seen government shutdowns, I'm thinking of like kind of from the perspective of what I see posted on social media, like, oh, such and such rising again, and I'm thinking that what happened 2020. I'm thinking that. So after listening to Beau, I come to more of an understanding of what's actually going on, and I look here and I see how you know Kevin McCarthy told House Republicans on a conference call this week that he believes Congress will have to pass a short-term government funding bill to avoid a shutdown this fall. Two sources with knowledge told NBC News. So I start to learn more things that I didn't know that was going on, right? Seems like things are always going on. Things are always switching. Next, it's just politics are crazy, right? But listening to Beau, like I could be listening to anything else. Listening to him, it's like I'm being schooled. Like I said, I'm a student when I listen to him, and he pretty much a lot of things he say just makes sense. It's like when you ride someone's coattail, that person fall, you're gonna fall with them. It's just certain jewels I pick up that I hear him say, and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I just this guy's very intelligent. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I pick up on everything he's saying, but I'm learning, and I know I'm gonna grow the more I actually, excuse me, the more I listen to him. Right? I know I'm gonna grow more and really just gonna help me have a brighter view of what is actually going on, right? Because I think my whole generation, we want to know what's going on, right? Like we want to know. I constantly hear, like I said, Democrat, Republican, right, left. Then it's like I can't. I feel like I can't even have an opinion anymore. Because then it's like, if I have an opinion that might sway a certain way, I'll have somebody say, oh yeah, keep sipping the left's Kool-Aid, or da 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 da. I'm unsubscribing from you. Da da da. It's like the same people who are like so freedom of speech and da 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 da. You can't agree with one thing or have a certain opinion without them. Oh, I'm judging you for it. I'm criticizing you for it. So, I want to listen to intelligent people like Beau and just really try to get what I can out of what he's saying until I really starts to really click more and more and more. Because obviously he's like a PhD in what he knows, right? or my bad. I say, like, if we was talking karate, he's a black belt in what he knows, right? He's a black belt in what he knows. So me coming in as a white belt, I'm just kind of trying to grasp what I can and just understand more about what's going on, because my generation, we confused. We don't really know what's going on, right? And I'm sure a lot of people don't. It's just weird. Everything's weird, right? But with that being said, no, and then everything's weird. But not only that, but then we see a bunch of grown folks, of our elders. We see everybody going at it, left, right, this, that, third, that, blah, 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 this, and that, and all, blah, blah. And it's chaos. It's utter chaos. So, yeah, Beau with the intelligence again. Much love, and I will be back with more soon. Original link in the description. I'm in the description, right? And yeah, I just feel like it's a puppet master thing for sure, and I feel like everybody's getting played. But hey, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll be reading.